Good morning students, myself Komal Walde. Today we are discuss about the menstrual cycle. It is the reproductive cycle of female, means it is the human female reproductive cycle. What is the menstrual cycle? It occurs at the puberty onset of the 9 to 12 years in the female. It is the cyclic discharge of menstrual fluid. We can say that the definition of that menstrual cycle, the cyclic discharge of menstrual fluid containing blood, cellular debris and unfertilized egg from uterus through the vagina by non-pregnant woman. The cycle is carried out approximately 28 days, means it carries out again and again for 28 days. After 28 days, this loss of menses or loss of unfertilized egg is carried out from each ovary of the female, from the both ovaries, means it is alternately is continuous process. Again, the menstrual cycle is particularly loss of unfertilized egg. That's why it is also known as the funeral of unfertilized egg. Means the menstrual phase is known as the, or menses known as the funeral of the unfertilized egg. So menstrual cycle has 4 phases: menstrual phase, proliferative phase, ovulatory phase, and last one is the secretory phase. So first we discussed about the menstrual phase. The menstrual phase, in which loss of unfertilized egg, discharge of cellular debris and unfertilized egg from the uterus through the vagina. The duration of menstrual phase is average 5 days. The duration of menstrual phase, or we can say that the bleeding phase, it is 5 days. Average is 3 to 7 days. Is different in the different females. Okay. The menstrual phase or menses is carried out by ovarian cycle because of the progesterone hormone level is decreases and it induces the estrogen hormone level is also decreases and menses start. It is known as the menses, in which the blood is lost from the uterus through the vagina. It is about 0 to 5. The menstrual cycle means the starting of first day, means starting of the loss of blood is considered as the first day of the menstrual cycle. Okay, it is the first day of the menstrual cycle, in which starting of the loss of blood takes place through the vagina. It occurs at 5 days, and in the uterine changes is what? The endometrium wall of the uterus is become thin, and the menstruum or menses is carried out. That's why it is known as funeral of unfertilized egg. This process is carried out to the next phase, that is the proliferative or follicular phase. The proliferative phase or follicular phase is known as, it is also known as post-menstrual phase. It is also known as post-menstrual phase because this phase is occur after the menstrual phase, means the follicular phase or proliferative phase occur after the menstrual phase. The duration is variable. The duration of that second phase is variable. It is considered from the 5th day to the 13th day. It is considered the 5th day to the 13th day of menstrual cycle, in which the primordial follicles are developed into the primary follicles, and some primary follicles are developed into the secondary follicle. The transformation production of the primary follicle is start in the first phase, and in the second phase, proliferative phase, these primary follicles are developed into the secondary follicles, but only a single follicle is developed into the mature follicle. We can say that the secondary follicle means number of secondary follicle, only single secondary follicle is transferred into the graphene follicle, and these graphene follicles is the mature follicle, and it transferred into the 5th to 13th day. Means the duration of proliferative phase is 5th to 13th day, in which uterine wall means the endometrial wall become regenerated. It ruptured or it breaks down in the first phase, and it is regenerated in the second phase, that is the proliferative phase. Okay, here the estrogen level is become high, and the formation of what? Graphene follicle is carried out in the second phase. It is variable phase starting from 5th to 13th day. Now, proliferative phase is continues to the third phase, that is known as the ovulatory phase. The third phase of the menstrual cycle is known as the ovulatory phase, and the duration of ovulatory phase is very small duration, means it is for 24 to 48 hours only, means we can say that only 1 day. The duration of ovulatory phase is only single day, we can say 24 hours to the 48 hours. So in this third phase, means in the ovulatory phase, it occurs at the 14th day of menstrual cycle, means ovulation takes place at the 14th day of menstrual cycle, in which the changes takes place what? The graphene follicle is ruptured and the ovulation takes place. Ovulation means what? The unfertilized egg comes out from the graphene follicle, means from the tissue of the graphene follicle, releasing of unfertilized egg is carried out, and this unfertilized egg is released for the process of fertilization, or if it is not fertilized, then again it is comes out from the uterus in second menses or in the next menstrual cycle, in which the FSH means follicular stimulating hormone level is high, and that's why the releasing of egg is carried out for the fertilization. The need of that releasing of unfertilized egg for the process of fertilization as well as for the implantation. This is the third phase of the menstrual cycle. Now we discuss the next phase of the menstrual cycle, that is secretory phase. The secretory phase is also known as luteal phase. It is also known as luteal phase, or again it is also known as premenstrual phase. The secretory phase is known as luteal phase, and again it is also known as premenstrual phase because it occurs before the next menstrual cycle, means it occurs before the next menstrual cycle. That's why it is known as the premenstrual phase. So the duration of luteal phase or duration of secretory phase is very longer, means from 14th day to 28 days, means total 14th days is the duration of secretory phase or the luteal phase, in which what? After the ovulation, after the ovulation the process is carried out. What? If egg is fertilized, then it is implant. But if egg is not fertilized and the remaining graphene follicle, the tissue of the remaining tissue of the graphene follicle is converted into a yellow body. It is converted into a yellow body which is known as the corpus luteum. The tissues of graphene follicle is transferred into the yellow body which is known as the corpus luteum, and if egg is not fertilized, means the fertilization doesn't takes place, then the corpus luteum, means the yellow body, is converted into a white scar. It is converted into a white scar that is known as corpus albicans. Corpus albicans. But if the egg is fertilized, means egg is the fertilized, then the formation of HCG, that is human chorionic gonadotropic hormone, is secreted from the ovary, and it is the indication of pregnancy. The human chorionic gonadotropic hormone is found in the maternal blood as well as maternal urine. That is the indication of pregnancy when egg is fertilized. But egg is not fertilized, then the next menstrual cycle begins after 28 days. Means the single menstrual cycle and the 4 phases is carried out in the 28 days, and after 28 days the second menstrual cycle is start, or we can say that the begin. Okay, thank you.